Vibhyastavaamritakathodavaha Padavaneja Shamalani Hantum. You know, in the religious language, in the devotional language, what is it that we want? Any religious seeker will say, all the actions I am performing, particularly religious rituals and ceremonies, they are to purify me, make me more and more deserving God's grace, deserving the higher regions, deserving evolution. That is the purpose. So for this purification, there are two streams that are flowing. One stream is Tavamrita Kathodavaha. By listening to the divine and alluring stories of God's excellences, exploits and excellences, these are the two words. In Krishna's life, what all things he displayed in the form of exploits and excellences. Srimad Bhagavata speaks only about it. That Balalila completely, it is the excellence of a child. Right from the time Kamsa called him, both of them, Krishna and Balarama, to witness the Dhanur Yaga, there was another plane, another level of excellence. Right then what happened? Kamsa had arranged right from the beginning an elephant and other things to kill Krishna. And he was still a boy, you should understand. He had not become a full youth. So he had to display his excellence at every stage of life. So Srimad Bhagavata very colorfully, enchantingly, appeasingly, alluringly explains all these things. Now listening to that, what is it that you are listening to? Something very godly, spiritual, divine, sublime, elevating, noble. You don't have a story like that in your house, either about your grandfather or granduncle. Nobody has such a life history. So this history is particularly offered, written in this manner, so that it will always give an alluringness to the people who hear. Tava amrita kathodavaha. And the story is the story of the immortality of the soul. It is not the story of an ordinary man. Krishna, who was distributing liberation left and right, he was distributing liberation. Unless he is liberated, he will not be able to give the message of liberation to people. Imagine the situation in Kurukshetra battlefield. Just in 2 or 2.5 hours, the crying and the sobbing Arjuna, he was completely cured and treated. And he took back his bow and arrow to fight an 18-day battle. What except the spirit of immortality could have achieved this? Magic. So that Amrita Katha Shravana, listening to the nectarine stories of excellences and exploits of God, Trilokyaha, it is capable of completely purifying all the impurity of the three worlds. Bibhyastava Kathodavaha Trilokyaha Shamalani Hantu. It is capable of destroying and removing the impurity of all the three worlds. Padavaneja Saditaha. Similarly, Mahabali received and welcomed Vamana. And first of all, he washed his feet. And the water he took, carried on his head, sprinkled on his head, and Vindhyavali's head, both on himself and his wife and all the others nearby. That is also a purifying stream. So there are two things here. One is the stream of the nectarine narration and listening to of that narration. That is one stream. In the other one, Anushravam Sudhibir Angrijam Angasangai. One is the stream of narration, the stream of listening, and the other is the Ganges, the flow of water from your feet. So there are two things here. They are both together called Tirthadvayam, Shuchijadasta, Upasprishanti. On the one hand, what happens? You listen to the nectarine narration. There is no sprinkling of water. It enters through the eardrum and it directly touches your heart and also the brain, the buddhi. In the other one, the water is sprinkled on your body So you have the touch, and from the touch you have the purity. Both are equally effective, they say, Tirthadvayam. That is why in our country, this Pada Prakshalana has got a great cultural impact and influence. Any great man or holy man, what you do is wash his feet and collect that water, sprinkle it on your head and members of the family and the assembly. This is a great culture in our land. It gives you the touch that bathing is for the body. In the other, the bathing for your heart, the mind and the jiva. Vibhyastavaamritakathodavaha strilokyaha padavaneja saridashamalani hantum anushravam shudibhirangrijam angasangaihi tirthadvayam shujishadasta upasprishanti. Badarayani ruvacha ityabhishtuya vibhuthaihi sesha shatadhritirharim abhyabhashada govindam pranamya ambaramashridaha. Ityabhishtuya vibhuthaihi sesha shatadhritirharim. The whole hymn, adorational hymn, that is over. Now, Badarayani says, Ityabhishtuya vibhuthaihi sesha shatadhritirharim. Brahma has come with all his retinue, and it is on behalf of Brahma that the Devas were offering this kind of a praise. So, praising Lord Hari in this manner, by knowledgeable people, vibhuthaihi sesha shatadhritirharim. Along with Shiva, Brahma has come. Abhyabhashada govindam. After praising and propitiating Lord Krishna, Brahma started speaking to him. Where did he stay? Pranamya ambarama ashridaha. Ambaram ashridaha. Pranamya. He had not come down. He was still remaining in the sky, in the space. So prostrating before Krishna himself from the sky, he spoke to him. Ityabhishtuya vibhuthaihi sesha shatadhritirharim abhyabhashada govindam pranamyambaramashridaha. Brahma uvacha bhumerbharaavataraya pura vijñāpidah prabho tvamasmābhirasheshatman tattathaivopapadidam dharmasya sthapidah satsu satyasandheshu vai tvaya kirtischa dikshu vikshipta sarvalokamalapaha. Bhumerbharaavataraya pura vijñāpidah prabho tvamasmābhirasheshatman tattathaivopapadidam. Bhumerbharaavataraya pura vijñāpidah prabho. My dear Lord, it is I who entreated you some time back to descend specially in order to relieve the earth of its excess wicked burden. The wicked people upon the earth grew in large number, and they were spreading destruction and harm everywhere. It was not ordinarily possible to content them or destroy them. I thought a special descent is necessary. That is why I came to you, entreated you to specially come down on the earth in this particular form, like Krishna, and to give the necessary relief for the earth. Tvam asmabhirashesha atman tat tathaivopapadidam. It is my request, our request, and that request is completely fulfilled. I would like you to know that you are not supposed to live upon the earth like the other human beings for any length of time. Ashesha atman. You are somebody who fills the entire universe. So earth alone is not your concern. Under your concern, the whole universe comes. So such a universal self as you are, you have come here to fulfill a particular mission and for a short time. Dharmasya sabidas satsu satyasandheshu vai tvaya kirtischa dikshu vikshipta sarvalokamalapaha. Dharmasya sthapidah satsu. Not only that you have destroyed the wicked people, you also made sure to establish proper dharma. That dharmasthapana mission was particularly fulfilled when you started instructing Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Like that, on so many occasions you have spoken to so many people, including the message sent through Uddhava to the Vraja women. Everywhere you have spoken, and you have explained what is the course of dharma, what is the power of dharma, what are the values to be upheld. Everything has been presented in a very enriching and edifying manner. Dharmascha sthabhida satsu. So the good people, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, as Gita says that, satyasandheshu vaitvaya, the people who are given to truthfulness, you have upheld them, you have strengthened them, you have rewarded them, you have reassured them. Kirtischa dikshu vikshipta. So far as fame is concerned, Krishna's fame is far and wide, far and wide. So you have spread your fame everywhere, everywhere. All people know about you. Narada is constantly singing about your glory. Sarvalokamalapaha. Your fame is not like the fame of any ordinary people like the king or the emperor. Sarvalokamalapaha. It is such that it will remove and redress all the impurity of the whole world. Dharmascha sthabhidas satsu satyasandheshu vaitvaya kirtischa dikshu vikshipta sarvalokamalapaha. See, what all things Krishna achieved. Many of you know, I have also perhaps said, but in this context, it will be wise to go through it. First of all, you should understand, the birth of Krishna was announced when Kamsa was driving Devaki and Vasudeva first time after her marriage to leave her in the husband's palace. Kamsa himself was driving because he was so fond of Devaki. It was an act of great affection. So when they were going with a lot of hope, joy and things like that, suddenly the journey was intercepted by an impersonal voice. Stop, listen to me. I am going to be born as the 8th son of your sister to kill you. This was the message. So you can imagine, it was a long rope given to Kamsa by Providence. He had enough time to protect himself and to prevent this proposed birth to kill him. Such a long rope was given. Suddenly what happened? Kamsa rose up and he was about to kill Devaki. Vasudeva intercepted and said that, I will give you one child after the other. Don't kill your sister and incur a sin. This is what Kamsa was told. So Kamsa had enough of opportunity, long years, 8 children to get born. At least it will take 10 or 12 years. Such a long time he had. And this long period, every time Kamsa's wickedness, cruelty, intolerance, fear and the need for safety, various measures he launched to ensure that safety, everything was escalating, up to which point he decided to imprison his own sister as well as brother-in-law. Both of them were imprisoned. Devaki started giving birth to children one after the other. Every time the child was born, in a matter of moments, Vasudeva faithfully took the child, wrapped properly, handed the child over to Kamsa. Kamsa took the child instantly, and with no qualms of any kind in his mind, he bet the child, hit the child, struck the child over a huge stone with a view to kill it. This is how he mercilessly dispatched every child after birth. Can you imagine? And everything was going on. And finally, at the midnight, Krishna was about to be born. Special sentries were appointed. All that was done. Still Krishna was born. And after revealing himself, he asked Vasudeva to take him straight to Vrindavana and bring back the girl from there. And the girl was brought, placed in the proper place. The news was reached that the birth has taken place. The news reached Kamsa. Kamsa came with a lot of anger and expectation, took the child, never examined who was born, etc. And as usual, he was about to strike the child on the rock. Suddenly, the child slipped from his hand, and standing in the air, it started saying, "You have lost the game. Your enemy is safely born elsewhere. See whether you can hunt him and get hold of him and kill him." Another long rope was given. Kamsa tried all that he could. Krishna contended every attempt of Kamsa. Finally, they were still growing. Suddenly, an invitation was sent by Kamsa for Krishna and his brother Balarama to come to or to go to Mathura in order to witness the Dhanuryaga. The journey to Mathura was very much eventful. Before entering the palace, Krishna happened to meet some people. The first was a washerman. For the ill treatment given by the washerman, he gave him a punishment. The next was a garland maker. He was rewarded. Kubja, the Trivakra, also was rewarded. Finally, they entered the palace to be greeted by the angry tusker called Kuvalaya Pidam. And Kuvalaya Pidam was attacked. And Krishna plucked both the tusks, put them on the shoulder. And the next was the entry into the arena of wrestling, the wrestling arena. He went there. Chanura and Mushtika were ready to contend Krishna. It was certainly not a compatible combat. Krishna was almost a boy, and the other people were huge people, youthful people. Nevertheless, Krishna took the challenge and defeated both of them, killed them. Suddenly he jumped over to where Kamsa was sitting and witnessing the whole event. He killed his uncle also. Straight away went to Ugrasena, who was under prison, liberated him. So many people had fled from the country because of the tyrannical rule of Kamsa. So he wanted to give the country a fair rule. Ugrasena was liberated, made to sit on the throne. Many people started returning to Mathura. The people's welfare was ensured. Then Shishupala and Dattavaktara were met. Naragasura also was slain, and all the 16,000 young women, Kanyagas, who were kept by him, they were liberated. Jarasandha also was slain. The Kurukshetra war took place. Arjuna was given, he was unable to fight the war. Only when Krishna gave his gospel called Bhagavad Gita, which even now constitutes one of the Prasthanatrayam, the cultural treasure of the country. It is in Bhagavad Gita that he gives a beautiful assurance. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkradam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In order to protect the wise and put down and destroy the wicked, every yuga, whenever necessary, I shall get born. I think even now this is the assurance before us. Our country is passing through a turmoil, and nothing human can liberate the country. Even the Supreme Court judges have said, even God will not be able to save the country. So we are passing through such a crisis. In this crisis, something should happen here, as a result of which all the people will be brought back their moral reins. And this will take place, there is no doubt. We have existed for millennia. During the course of Krishna, many things happened. I would like to refer to one or two. The Vraja girls performed a Katyayani Vrata observance. Their idea was they must get Krishna as their husband. That is the time Krishna robbed their dress and started sitting on the top of a tree. Finally, they had to go there and beg for their dress. He gave. At the same time, he recognized that their wishes had to be fulfilled. So he said that I will perform a rasa dance with you during the autumn season. And that was also done. He finally had to leave Vrindavan for good. He has never returned there. But there are a number of women there, including these Vraja girls who had performed the Katyayani vow for getting Krishna as the husband, and Krishna had accepted. So leaving them, he went away. So he sends a message to the Vraja women through Uddhava. This message is something very, very important for the devotional community, the devotional people of India. And this message reads like this. Yatvaham bhavati nam vai dure varte priyo drisham manasah sannikarshartham madanudhyana kamyaya yatha duratare preshte mana avishya vartade strinam cha na tatha chetaha sannikrishte akshigojare. Now these are some very, very special points about human psychology, particularly the feminine mind. You know, the Srimad Bhagavata is a Shastra. A Shastra means a scientific, logic, rational treatise. I would like to describe it as a compendium. So it gives you a lot of enlightenment about human life, the various aspects of it. Yatvaham bhavatinam vai dure varte priyo drisham manasaha sannikarshartham mad anudhyana kamyaya. Do you know why I have distanced myself from you? I am your beloved and you are equally beloved to me. In spite of the belovedness reigning in the hearts of both of us, on the one side myself and on the other side all of you, I have decided to come away and stay here, distance myself. You know why? When I am away, you will be able to think of me with far greater intensity and depth. Yatha duhratare preshte mana avishya vartade strinam cha na tatha chedaha sannikrishte akshigojare. For the female mind particularly, whatever they feel beloved to them, if that beloved object is near, they will not be so much fused into it. Yatha duratare preshte mana avishya vartade. If their preshta, the most beloved person, is living far away, then the mind will be intensely thinking about it. Suppose the person is physically close, then the mind will not think that much. That is why I choose to remain distant from you, so that your meditation and contemplation about me will grow intense, deep and wholesome, and you will constantly be riveted to me in your mind. Yatha duradare preshte mana avishya vartade strinam cha na tatha chedaha sannikrishte akshigojare mayaveshya manah krishnam vimukta shesha vrittiyad anusmarandyo mam nityam ajirat mam upaishyatha. Mayaveshya manah krishnam, krishnam manaha, your full mind, mayi aveshya, establishing your mind, infusing your mind completely about my thoughts, vimukta shesha vrittiyad. No other activity of any kind whatsoever should interfere in this infusion. Completely it should be fused towards me. Anusmarandyo mam nityam. The memory of me, that is the Krishna memory in you, should be constant and unbroken. No activity or interaction should be able to bring about an interception in this intense memory. Ajirat mam upaishyatha. When in this way your mind becomes fused into the Krishna thought and the Krishna memory, you will find ajirat, before long, mam upaishyatha, you will have attained me. Suppose I am near at hand, maybe you will start playing with me, cutting jokes, sometimes serving food, getting angry and all that. Now all those counter emotions will vanish and you will have only one undercurrent, one full current, that the current of Krishna consciousness in you throughout. Anusmarandyo mam nityam ajirat mam upaishyatha ya maya kridaya ratriyam vanesmin prajasthitaha alabdharasa kalyanyo ma abur mad virya chintaya. You remember that I performed a Rasa Krida with all of you in the forest. I played my flute as a signal, calling all of you to come near me so that I can go to the forest regions along with you. The sky was beautifully lit by the moon. It was a very good day. So I played my flute. Many of you came. But there were one or two people, a few people who could not come. Maybe the house members prevented them. They did not have the freedom. Alabdharasaha kalyanyo ma abuhu madvirya chintaya. You know what happened? Because they were restrained, they were physically unable to come and be close to you. All of you were with me. We spent quite a lot of time. Before the day broke, I sent you back, you went back. In their case, you know what happened? Ma abuhu madvirya chintaya. Madvirya chintaya. ma abuhu. Because of the intensity, the severity, the fervor, the wholesomeness, the fullfoldness of their consciousness about me, remembering me, madvirya chintaya, thinking about me, that strength of thought, density of thought, depth of feeling, they attained me. In your case, you are still away in Vrindavan and I am here in Mathura. Alabdharasah kalyanyo ma abur madvirya chindaya. So you should allow the mind to grow more and more intense. That intensity of the mind takes place when the beloved object is at a distance. Let the intensity grow and grow. Now Shuka makes an observation. Kvema striyo vanacharir vyabhichara dushtaha Krishne kvacha isha paramatmani rudha bhavaha Nanvishwaro anubhajato avidusho abhisakshat Shreyastano tyagadaraja ivo vayuktaha. I don't know, any one of you has ever heard this kind of a verse and its relevance?